8. 7, 6, 5, 4,
Focus.
3, 2, and 1.
Good morning, Albany leadership, and welcome to our second week of Black History Month. Today's live stream will discuss two important aspects of our culture: sports and politics.
Sports are a world pastime, and it both brings people together and separates them. Black athletics have used sports as a way to advocate for social issues and for political agendas. Serena Owens, Flo Jo, Jesse Owens, Tommy Smith, John Carlos, Jackie Robinson, Colin Kaepernick, Simone Biles, and many others have used their public platforms to bring awareness to issues that affect society. These players reside the idea that they cannot or should not speak about political, cultural, or social issues. Black athletic activism have often suffered personal and economic consequences due to their stances, speech, actions, but to them it has been worth it to see changes.
We are now going to watch the trailer for the 2020 Showtime documentary, Shut Up and Dribble. Narrated by acclaimed sports journalists and commentators, Jamil Hill's Shut Up and Dribble is a powerful inside look at the changes, role in NBA athletes through the lens of our shifting cultural and political environment. The series was directed by Gautam Chopra and executive produced by LeBron James, Maverick Carter, and Chopra.
We're hearing that some of the Warriors may have already made a decision not to attend a potential White House visit.
Why have you decided that this is something you really want to make a big statement about?
I don't want to go. That's really
In your life's blueprint, you must have the determination to achieve excellence.
If you're in a racist society and you're being discriminated against, it's up to you to do something for yourself.
Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody.
Is there any regret that you got into a name-calling situation with the president?
No.
Always feel that you count. Always feel that you count.
Black athletes were supposed to be the workers, not the owners. They were supposed to be the talent and never the power brokers.
Always feel that you have worth.
It's so much more than a game. It's a vehicle to push positive social change.
And always feel that your life.
At some point, you have to look in the mirror and say, am I part of the problem? Am I part of the solution?
Has ultimate significance. Ultimate significance. Doors are opening to each of you. Each of you.
All these guys who stood up every step along the way, they're the ones who are the true heroes in our world.
At that time, it was never acceptable that a black player was the best.
And when you discover what you're going to be in life, set out to do it as if God Almighty called you at this particular moment in history to do it.
If you recognize where you come from and your background and what people have done for you to get there, you're going to get inspired by it and you're going to do right, period.
Set out to do a good job and do that job. Couldn't do it any better.
Welcome back. We will now be discussing politics. Both presently and historically, Black communities and movements have been strongly involved in politics to seek their rightful space in the country. Where race is concerned, legislative or judicial action to deal with controversial issues has often come very late. The historic Executive Orders 8802 in 9346 were responses to A. Phillip Randolph and the All-Black March on Washington movement's threat to lead a 50,000-strong black workers' march into Washington, D.C. All three of the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, and the Fair Housing Act were concessions to the civil rights and black power movements. Every advance, improvement in our quality of life, and access to the levers of our power to determine our destiny has been achieved through struggle. The late Senator John Lewis advised, "Do not get lost in the sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble." Lewis's advice is true, not just for the 21st century, but also during the antebellum period. Seen in the narratives of the enslaved, such as Frederick Douglass and Harriet Jacobs, to modern protests against ongoing police violence, good and necessary trouble has always been integral to the rights movement. Following the murders of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, and thousands of other black women, men, and trans individuals, there are new movements and organizations that are pushing for the justice system to investigate police-involved shootings and white supremacist vigilantes. Nearly 179 years ago, the Reverend Henry Highland Garnet proposed that the only path to freedom, justice, equality, and social transformation is resistance. In thunderous tones, Garnet shouted, "Let your motto be resistance, resistance, resistance."
To build our conversation about political activism, we will have the honor of having co-founder of all of us, Jamaica Miles, come speak at 2 o'clock. All of Us is a black-led majority LGBTQIA+ grassroots community organization fighting for all black liberation and an end of all forms of racism, oppression, and exploitation. They work to create changes for the benefit of the people based on the voices and experience of the people, especially those among us who most hurt by the current systems and have struggles of racism, sexism, and exploitation and oppression. All of Us is committed to a strategy that prioritizes the voices of the marginalized of communities across the greater capital region of New York, building towards the change within New York State as a whole. If you would like to listen to Jamaica Miles explain more about her organization, you must sign up during lunch. You will not be permitted to attend if you have not signed up during lunch with Ms. Fisher. You must also meet the following criteria. No referral received today or yesterday. If you are unsure, please check in with your teacher or Dean Harvey. You also must be passing your 8th period class. Please watch the following video to learn more about the work that all of us and Jamaica Miles do. We hope to see you this afternoon.
When you talk about a revolution, most people think violence, without realizing that the real content of any kind of revolutionary thrust lies in the principles and goals you strive. My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom for others. We are oppressed, we are exploited, we are denied not only civil rights, but human rights. We have to go to the root, go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
As you go about your Tuesday, keep in mind the ways that your very education is an act of resistance. Our generation is the one to pave the way for equality and change. That change begins with what and how we learn in the classroom and how we take it back into our community. Tune in tomorrow and the rest of February for more Black History Month live streams. This has been Namaya Jennings
and Queen Maddox
signing off. Enjoy your day.